My name is Barney Fonzie. I'm the publisher of Diablo Magazine, Diablo Publications. And on behalf of Steve and Marilyn Rivera and the whole team at Diablo Publications, we'd like to welcome you to Threads of Hope 2015. It's such a special night for all of us. You know, I say it every year because it means so much to us to be able to come out and honor some incredible people in our community, and those are our volunteers. You look at the number of people, so many stories can't come to mind while I was sitting there watching, because these individuals have touched our community in so many ways and so many lives that it really is an honor for us to honor them tonight. We're humbled by our Threads of Hope honorees and so thrilled to be here. It's hard to believe that it's been 20 years since the first Threads of Hope Award, when Steve came in the office one day and says, I think we should honor volunteers in our community. They're never looking for any sort of recognition, but we have the ability through Diablo to tell their stories, the stories of the wonderful organizations that they work with. And the idea was born, and we've had small receptions to large celebrations, but always with the same mission, and that's recognizing some very incredible people. Like anything, Threads of Hope is truly a collaboration. And we're so pleased to have such wonderful partners in helping us put Threads of Hope on. First, our presenting partner, Wells Fargo Private Bank. They've been our presenting partner for 10 years now, so that's a long time, and we appreciate it. Wells Fargo Private Bank is the epitome of a community, of an organization that gives to the community. And we're so proud to have Mark Flower and his team, such an integral part of Threads of Hope. So thank you so much, Mark. Also our gold partner, Contra Costa Oncology. They specialize in comprehensive, cutting-edge treatment for cancer and do so much. Lorraine Hughes and the team there, you know, everywhere I go, they're involved with fundraisers and events to help raise the awareness and help fight cancer. And it's 3 years now that they've been a partner of ours. Thank you, Lorraine, and all your team. It's now my pleasure to bring up Mark Flower, Senior Vice President and Regional Director of Wells Fargo Private Bank. Mark?
Thank you, Barney, and thank you. I wanted to just thank all the members of Diablo Magazine, especially Steve Rivera and Marilyn Rivera. The idea of bringing inspiration to the community, to inspire people to do more and to give back, I think was a brilliant idea 20 years ago, and I'm very proud to have been able to be part of this. 8 out of the last 10 years. I missed last year, and it just didn't seem right kicking off the holiday season without being part of Threads of Hope. I had to be out of town last year, and so I'm very happy to be back. You know, when you think about Threads of Hope and why we at Wells Fargo are proud to be part of this, is it really lines up with our vision and values. We very much encourage our team members and our clients to give back to the community, not just financially, but with personal capital. And I just love being part of this process because we get to see not just the people we get to recognize tonight, but there's countless hundreds of others that submit proposals for recognition, and they all do great things. So tonight is just not about thanking and rewarding the people that we're recognizing, but it's all the great work all the various people do in the community. And I just want to make sure that you all know that we very much appreciate what you do. In addition to that, I think it's important that, you know, companies, and what I love about this process with Diablo Magazine recognizing folks through Threads of Hope is I hope it inspires companies, business owners, and those of you in the room that are business owners, to get your business involved and to rally around it. We do something, what we call our Week of Caring every year, and we go out and do various projects with different organizations, from helping elderly do fix-ups around the house to going and helping out at the cancer center or the hospice center to help clean out their storage facility to get them ready for the next year. Any project like that, and it's a great team builder. It brings teams together, and everyone feels good at the end of the day. So I would love to encourage those types of things to be happening. So at this point, finally, I'd like to recognize our mistress of ceremonies, Jessica Aguirre. I've had the pleasure of doing this 8 times with Jessica, and she just does an amazing job of really digging in deep and learning about the various recipients tonight. And so with that, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Jessica Aguirre, our co-anchor NBC Bay Area, to the stage.
Thank you. 8 years we've been doing this? Oh my God. It feels like the first time. How are you? So nice to see everyone here this evening. This is wonderful. I can't believe it's been 8 years that we've been doing this event together for me. It's such a pleasure. I really am delighted to be here. I've told you many, many times that this is one of my most favorite events that I do, and one of the few ones that I just keep saying yes to because I love it here so much. And it's hard to believe that here we are again and that 2014 is coming to a close. I find that disheartening and yet inspirational at the same time. I have to say, the truth is, it's an occupational hazard of mine that I look at the year, or the way I gauge the year is really by looking at all the calamities and disasters and horrible things that have happened, and that's how I kind of categorize it in my mind of what we've been through. And 2014, I have to say, has been a very frightening year. We've had a lot of bad things happen. From uprising in the Ukraine, to the crisis in Crimea, conflict in Syria, Libya, Egypt, Pakistan, Hong Kong, the conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. You've had the beheadings with ISIS, the kidnappings of Boko Haram, and of course the suicide bombings of Al-Qaeda. You've got the sunken ferries, downed airliners, missing airliners, train derailments, bus collisions, suicide bombings, and cartel murders in Mexico. Immigration crisis, cyber attacks, landslides, mudslides, hurricanes, typhoons, monsoons, wildfires, and we had the Napa quake. We had the enterovirus, we had the norovirus, and we had Ebola. We've talked about Jahai McMath, Oscar Pistorius, Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, Ray McDonald, Robin Williams, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Joan Rivers, and Kim Kardashian's butt. All disturbing, very unsettling, very frightening things that have dominated the news cycle. Far too much. They've been pernicious, they've been persistent, especially her butt, and they've left us damaged just a little bit. And the truth is, it makes me question what kind of a world do we live in, and the sanity of the world that we live in. However, that's why tonight is so great, because tonight we take away all those hardships and all those sorrows, and we show you that in this place that we call home, in this little corner of the world in which we live in, there is so much light. There is so much goodness. There's so much empathy and equity. There's compassion. There's beauty. There's self-sacrifice and dignity. There's faith, friendship, charity, and above all, we have hope. Lots and lots of hope. Hope for a better today, hope for a better us, hope for a better tomorrow. Tonight, we only look at the good, and we reflect, and we see everything that's right with the world. The news tonight is good news, and that's why I love this. Tonight, we celebrate the generosity of the people that live with us and the honorees that we have with us tonight. Tonight, our threads will remind you that it's a long and winding road, but you do not have to walk it alone, because no matter where you are, our threads will always keep you in your hearts.
I'll think of you as I go, so when I leave, you're not alone. And no matter where we are, we will never be that far, 'cause I will think of you as I go. Think of you as I dream, So when it's dark, you'll be with me, And no matter where we are, we can look up to the stars, and I will think of you as I dream.
Oh, it's a long and winding road, but you don't have to walk alone. 'Cause no matter where we are, I will keep you in my heart, and I will think of you as I go.
I'll think of you when I'm down, when my heart is on the ground, and I will never lose my way, even if the skies are gray, 'cause I will think of you when I'm down.
Oh, it's a long and winding road, but you don't have to walk alone. 'Cause no matter where we are, I will keep you in my heart, and I will think
of you as I go.
Oh, it's a long and winding road, but you don't have to walk alone. 'Cause no matter where we are, I will keep you in my heart, and I will think of you.
Yes, I will think of you.
Oh, I will think of you
as I go.
Tonight is about the heart that gives, the heart that loves, and the heart that feels for others. So how do you get this prestigious honor of being one of the nominees for Threads of Hope? Well, Diablo Magazine invited its readers, the nonprofit community, and the business community to submit nominees for the Threads of Hope Awards. So many exceptional volunteers were nominated, and then a panel of distinguished judges representing East Bay businesses, philanthropic organizations, selected those winners. Panel members considered each nominee's length of service, their hands-on involvement, and the impact that they're having on the community before they selected the 7 to be honored tonight. So we'd like to thank our judges, and we'd like you to stand so everyone can see you and recognize you for the work that you've done. We begin with Mark Flower. You've met Mark before, Senior Vice President and Regional Director, Wells Fargo, the Private Bank, and just a great guy. Nice man. Stephen Lesher, Vice President of the Dean and Margaret Lesher Foundation, done so much for our community and the arts. Carole Wynstra, President of the Walnut Creek Library Foundation and the past President of the Diablo Theatre Company. Mario Alioto, Senior Vice, Business Operations of the San Francisco Giants. Woo-woo! How about those Giants? And Joe Loss, Executive Director of the Volunteer Center of the East Bay. Thank you. Okay, so what is the meaning of Threads of Hope? Well, the 7 honorees that you'll meet tonight are going to remind you that the world is in fact inhabited by people with grace and courage, kindness, commitment, integrity, and all those horrible things that I report about are not happening tonight. These people are good people. From the one who started working with Alzheimer's patients as a high school student and continues to do so as a young adult, to retired police officers who help kids thrive and make the most of their lives. Diablo's 2014 Threads of Hope Award winners embody the true spirit of this season. Amazing things are possible, and the fabric of our community becomes stronger because of these people. Through their selfless efforts, these 7 individuals embody a faith that it is possible to make the world a better place, and that it starts right here in our corner of the world in the East Bay. For almost 20 years, as you know now, Diablo Magazine has had hundreds of nominees and honorees who have graced us with the courage, the kindness, and the commitment that makes our community great. But tonight is a really special night, because tonight we have a few milestones as well. As you heard Barney say, this marks the 20th year of Threads of Hope, 20 years of celebrating everything that's right with our part of the world. And our world then stretches out to other parts, and that generosity just gets multiplied. We're also giving out our first Stephen J. Rivera Visionary Award. Now, if you were here last year, you remember that we inaugurated this award with Steve last year, and it was a surprise to him that he got this award. We were committed to giving it to Steve because of what he's done for our community in giving us the Threads of Hope and the commitment that he's made with the magazine to honor people in our community that are making a difference. So big round of applause for Steve for doing that. This is a special award because the Stephen J. Rivera Visionary Award is given to people who create a foundation in the East Bay, which shows their long-term commitment to doing good here in our community and to make the world a better place. And then last but not least, get ready for this one because it's crazy, celebrating the 100th Threads of Hope recipients. That's crazy, isn't it? That's amazing. So if you look around, you know that there are at least 100 fabulous people in our community. Okay, are we ready to start? Because it's going to be a great night. Okay, we all know about the Energizer Bunny, right? Well, Jane Emanuel is the human version of the Energizer Bunny. She keeps going and going and going and going. She's a grandmother of 6 and a Lafayette resident, and she volunteers at the Bedford Gallery in Walnut Creek, where she's been a docent for more than 15 years. She's in her first year as chair of the City Arts Commission, and she leads the art tours around town, and then every week, she also volunteers at the Contra Costa Crisis Center, where she answers the crisis hotline and leads support groups. Yeah, that's why they call her the Energizer Bunny, people. So please, Jane Emanuel.
Jane is a person who doesn't even think about what she does, all the work she does. 2 places where she volunteers are really at the opposite end of the spectrum. One is answering suicide hotline calls for people who are desperate, and the other is working with local children in the schools, and also working with children at the art gallery. And that's always impressed me that she could do those 2 jobs. The Lesher Art Gallery has very, very different types of exhibitions, and she takes that into the schools and they can create their own art objects, which I think is a fantastic thing to do with kids. As far as helping people with a suicide hotline, I can't imagine being more helpful than doing that for somebody who's really desperate, really in need.
Hi, I'm Jane Emanuel, and I live in Lafayette, and I have a lot of energy. I've always volunteered. I guess I learned about it from my parents, and I just see it as a chance to be helpful. I like the camaraderie of it. I like, at the end of the day, to feel like I've accomplished something, and I just feel that it's a part of my being and who I am, and I just naturally do it. The 2 activities that I do, the Crisis Center and the Bedford Gallery, actually are similar in that what I really do is listen, and I hear what people have to say, and I reflect back to them what they've said. And I think that that works for people in need because it gives them a chance to hear themselves say what they're thinking, and with kids, it gives them a chance to voice things that they've never voiced before. We bring students to the Bedford Gallery for field trips. Many of these kids have never seen art face to face, and it's their first experience. And so if we can get them thinking and engaging with the pieces that they see, I think it will be a lifelong interest that they'll have. I got involved with the Crisis Center about 24 years ago. I had a brother who had mental illness, and I felt that maybe if I learned how to talk to people about it, I could help him. And we have ways of talking with people that we work through what's going on, what supports they have, why they want to live. And we are able usually to get somebody to at least contract with us that they won't do anything to harm themselves for the next 24 hours sometimes. And when you know that that person is ready to say goodnight and they're feeling safe and they're feeling that someone has heard them, that's a really special moment. And that's how I know what I'm doing really helps.
present the Energizer Bunny, Jane Emanuel. I want to be you. I want to be you. I want to be you.
I share this award tonight with the agencies that I serve. For over 50 years and for 24 hours every day, volunteers at the Contra Costa Crisis Center are offering grief counseling programs and answering crisis line calls for those in need. Director Rhonda James leads us with great wisdom and boundless compassion. Rhonda, you are the best. The Bedford Gallery in the Lesher Center exhibits world-class art and offers stimulating art education programs for children and adults. Curator Carrie Lederer's artistic vision enables all of us to experience art and the world in new and different ways. Carrie, you're always my inspiration. Thanks to the judges and everyone at Diablo Magazine, and forever thanks to my nominator friend, Beth Soloway, for thinking of me and following up on it. All my love and thanks to my husband, Roger, for his kind and loving support for all the stuff I do, and for being willing to make your own dinner on Thursday night. Congratulations to all the nominees, the honorees. It's just an amazing bunch. And congratulations to Diablo Magazine for celebrating the potential and the power of each and every volunteer in our community. And finally, Nicole, Naomi, and Natalie, I'm proud of the fact that you're already volunteering, and I'm going to see you up here someday. Thank you.
That was great. Here, Jane Emanuel, everyone, and let's hear for Roger for making his own dinner. Roger, if you're not careful, it's going to be Friday nights as well. Okay, let's introduce you to our next nominee. Grandma Judy no longer remembers her 21-year-old grandson, Zachary Smith. At first, she started to forget conversations, and she started to lose things that were important to her. Zach says Alzheimer's disease is an incurable terminal illness. When you go through it with someone, you feel helpless. Zach Smith grew up in Moraga and spent much of his childhood at his Grandma Judy's house. Today, he's an advocate to help find and possibly find a cure for Alzheimer's. He spends his summers working in the Lafayette office and travels to Washington, D.C. each spring to encourage politicians to pass relevant legislation and increase funding for Alzheimer's research. When Smith graduates with his public policy degree from the University of Redlands next year, he says he plans to devote his career to fighting Alzheimer's. Zachary Smith.
My name is Ruth Gay. I'm the Director of Public Policy and Advocacy for the Alzheimer's Association of Northern California and Northern Nevada, and I nominated Zach Smith for the Threads of Hope Award. We nominated Zach because he was a student who'd been working with us for several years, and he exemplified what I thought was the intent of this award. He has the integrity and the commitment to work in a way that was unlike anybody else to make a difference in the world for people with Alzheimer's disease. He started out just doing little things for us, and then as time went on, he just sort of embraced the work. He got involved in all aspects of the work, including involving himself in advocacy, attending advocacy days, helping with listening sessions where we heard from families who were talking to legislators about the issues, and he just became part of all the different aspects of our work. I just want to thank Zach because I think he has been such a part of our life at the Alzheimer's Association and being part of a solution to a very difficult issue.
Hi, I'm Zach Smith. Well, when I was about a senior in high school, I noticed that my grandmother, who I was very close to growing up, was getting further and further into Alzheimer's disease. She was such an important figure in my life, so that prompted me to want to give back and really help her as she was going through this disease. And so I discovered the Alzheimer's Association when I was in high school because I wanted to do my community service on something Alzheimer's disease related for that reason. And in that, I was able to discover that they had support services that were of benefit to my grandma and my grandfather who was taking care of her. And as I became closer and closer with the people who worked at the association, they embraced me and introduced me to advocacy. I would like to continue to be a part of the movement toward eventually finding a treatment and a cure for Alzheimer's disease. I intend to continue being involved. I wish she could have had the opportunity to know that I was involved, and I think she would be incredibly proud and, incredibly honored that her grandson would be doing something like this to help her and others like her, because the way I always knew her, she never really took time for herself. She was always that person in our family throughout the decades that was caring for other people and tirelessly doing that in such a selfless way. And, sacrificed so much of herself to do that. And I feel like it could not be more fitting that I have the opportunity now to give back for what she has done for so many people in my life over the years.
Mr. Zach Smith, your grandmother would be very, very proud of you.
I would just like to say what an incredible honor it is to be receiving the Threads of Hope Award tonight, and I think it's especially wonderful because when I discovered the Alzheimer's Association over 4 years ago now, I had absolutely no idea that I would be sort of standing here tonight and that my life would have taken this turn and that this issue would sort of define what I hope to do for the rest of my life. And I would just like to say thank you. I have so many people to thank in my life. I have my family, my parents, my brother and sister, and of course my grandparents, and all of my friends. And of course, I have to thank Ruth Gay and everybody at the Alzheimer's Association who have just been so kind to me over the years and really embraced me and sort of have given me the tools that I need to continue this work. And I have to also say, of course, thank you to my grandmother. Just last Sunday, by coincidence, she passed away from Alzheimer's disease, and that was before the video was filmed, or that was after the video was filmed. And so I think it seems especially fitting. It's so unbelievable to be receiving this award just 4 days later. And it's for that reason that I accept this award in her honor. Thank you, Grandma, for everything, and thank you to everyone.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Really beautiful. Smith family did something right? He's fantastic. Okay. This is a really special part of our program tonight because it is something that we're doing for the first time, okay? Last year, if you were here, you know that Steve Rivera, Diablo Magazine's founder and the president, received the very first Visionary Award for his work in starting Threads of Hope. Now, if you know Steve, you know that he is the Idea Energizer Bunny. He's always got a lot of great ideas. He's always rushing into the offices. And it's great to have great ideas, but few people follow up on their ideas and stay committed to their ideas the way that Steve has. He has continued this for 20 years, poured his heart and soul into this, and made it such an important part of our community. And really not only energized everyone, but made his whole staff and everyone who's involved with Diablo Magazine believe it from the core of their souls, the importance of this award. So a big applause for Steve for doing that. Now Steve's taken it another step forward by inspiring us to create a new award for individuals with the passion and the dream to start something great. These individuals are the ones who have a vision for a better world by doing something noble. That word vision is what gave Diablo Magazine the idea to create the Stephen J. Rivera Threads of Hope Visionary Award. And now we want to take this opportunity to share with you the first recipient of the Stephen J. Rivera Award. And believe it or not, it starts with a cat. Yes, a cat. A very famous cat by now, and if you're a baseball fan, you may actually have seen this cat. It started with a cat at a baseball game, and then a year later, the LaRussas created their nonprofit foundation and hosted the first Stars to the Rescue benefit concert in Walnut Creek. Their mantra is that we can do more. ARF was off and running, rescuing 8,000 animals in its first 12 years. And if you live in the East Bay, I don't have to tell you what ARF is, because you know. ARF has not only helped thousands of animals, but the animals have also rescued thousands of people. Animals help children relax and concentrate in a way that they can't when they're in a classroom, when they're stressed. Animals have helped girls who were in our at-risk program say, I'm going to go to college, and it's because I learned to take care of a cat, and that cat was with me all the time in my life when I was ready to kill myself. They've seen the animals help veterans and seniors, and they say that the animals help us more than we help them. My children have gone to ARF. We've taken tours, we've volunteered there, we've taken classes. And when you see those children walk through there and learn about how to care for an animal, that those animals have feelings and compassion and that they love us, it's magical to see children change and go home and be able to care for something with so much love. Okay? So this is a very important award. I'd like you to see how Steve talks about his commitment to this award. And you're going to see Steve in a video that we actually shot for NBC Bay Area. I think it was 2 years ago for a Christmas special. And we had the great pleasure of having Steve Rivera with us in that show.
At the end of the Threads of Hope Awards, that at least one person will be moved to say, I could do this, I've been thinking about doing this, or I should do this, and that they will do it. Now if you get two, that's even better. I've always felt that, you know, in a great life, I'd be a thread, that somebody would say, Steve Rivera should be a Threads of Hope. But if you commit yourself to do this, and you give it your all, and you can change one life because you put the time in my mind, you've done an incredible job in your life. If everybody was a thread of hope, imagine what a great world this would be.
It started with a cat, one skinny black cat darting across a baseball field. In the spring of 1990, that stray cat, terrified by the roar of the crowd, ran frantically around on the field during a televised Oakland Athletics home game. After managing to elude capture, the frightened cat, who was later named Evie, was coaxed to safety by the manager, Tony La Russa. Tony kept the cat safe until the end of the game. Television announcers were making a joke about it, but you could tell by the cat's body language that the cat was experiencing sheer panic. Elaine La Russa, Tony's wife, talked to him on the phone right after the game and said, "Who has the cat? Get the cat." This story could have ended there, but when Tony and his wife Elaine discovered that Evie would most likely be euthanized at the shelter where she was scheduled to be taken, the La Russas sprang into action. Tony and Elaine found a safe home for Evie the cat and later established the Animal Rescue Foundation, one of the first no-kill animal shelters in the Bay Area. Within its first year, the foundation rescued over 8,000 animals, and in its 25-year history has helped place more than 25,000 dogs and cats into homes within the local community. ARF's mission of people rescuing animals and animals rescuing people extends beyond its animal shelter activities. The Foundation's 37,000 square foot facility in Walnut Creek is also a hub for community outreach and education. ARF is dedicated to educating the public through specialized programs and classes and is devoted to enhancing the lives of children at-risk teens, seniors, military veterans, and many others through the use of therapy animals. Tony and Elaine's vision for ARF isn't confined to the East Bay. ARF's influence continues to expand into the Greater Bay Area and across the nation. When Hurricane Sandy devastated the eastern coastline along New York and New Jersey, ARF stepped in to help, providing safe housing for the pets of families who'd been displaced by the storm. Thanks to the extraordinary vision and outstanding community service of Tony and Elaine LaRussa, thousands of animals and their human companions have the happy ending they deserve.
Please put your hands together for our founder and our leader, and a man who really is a thread of hope, Steve Rivera. You're the ultimate thread of hope.
Well, good evening. Thank you. Can you hear me? And welcome to our neighbors, our friends, our family, my darling Marilyn, and Mom. I really enjoy this more than anything all year long. This is my favorite event, and I'm honored to be in the company of all the nominees and the recipients tonight. I'm thinking, a stray cat. Now, at my house, we had a stray cat, and then we went out and bought one of those igloos for the kitty, and we put it out in the backyard, and that's where the kitty was. But the LaRussas get a stray cat, and they build a 37,000 square foot facility. Of course, now it had been the dog, I was worried that I'm going to be out in the igloo one day, so I understand the compassion for animals. It's very hard for me to have my name attached to an award called the Visionary Award because, like so many others that I know who've created things like this, you don't really see it that way when you're thinking of it and when you're starting something. It's just an idea. And in a way, a vision could simply be a hallucination if you didn't actually have, the ability to move it forward. So I also think it's strange to have my name on an award when I'm still alive. I am still alive, right?
This is not heaven.
Because usually you're off somewhere when that happens. But I did accept the award last year with the caveat that it would only be shared with my name if I could express the gratitude to all the members of the Diablo team, past, present, and future, because it was only a hallucination and they made it happen. And so, like so many things, if I were to say, how do you wrap an idea around a visionary award, it's simply this. If you have a vision, and so many of you do it. And put one foot in front of the other, and don't stop, don't quit. Don't let anybody tell you you can't accomplish what it is that you set out to do. Believe in yourself. And if you do that, you'll exceed your expectations and great things will happen. And when that happens, you'll be able to come back later and say, when people ask you, tell me about your vision, you'll be able to say, oh, I had this grand plan. It was chiseled in jello, just like mine and just like the LaRussas. So with that, I want to say, please accept my first Vision Award from the members of all of us at Diablo. And thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for what you've done for our community and for all our four-legged friends. Tony, Elaine.
First of all, before the speech maker takes the microphone, I'd like to thank, for this very special award, the first ever Visionary Award, I'd like to thank Diablo Magazine and the judges and everyone involved in just getting the exposure out there for ARF. I think it's just incredible. But that said, I'd also like to thank the community who also saw there was such a need that they rallied around us immediately and made it possible for ARF to grow to what it is now. Thank you very much.
I think the most important thing that can do today is two things. One, show an appreciation to Steve for a night, but also going way back to the early 90s. But before that, I think it's really important to capture the essence of what ARF started and continues to be. And that is the intellectual and emotional spirit of our founder, which is Elaine. My name's up there because we wanted to capture some sports fans, I think. But the essence, and everybody knows that is involved with ARF, Elaine is the spirit that drives this, continues to drive it. And we were really proud that our two daughters have taken up the rescue spirit. Bianca and Devin continue with their mom to work. But the vision, our initial, we thought 7,500, 10,000 square feet. We didn't think we'd get this kind of support, and we are overwhelmed over the 20 years as to what happened. We thank our sponsors, our staff, our volunteers, everybody that, but mostly we thank the animals. I mean, they are the stars of our foundation. They never let you down. So important to rescue them, and we put them with people. But I will tell you that in the early 90s, when we were really struggling to survive, I went to Diablo magazine, I met Steve, and I asked in our name for help. And he saw that we were legitimate, evidently, because right away he came out and supported Stars to Rescue, and he gave us exposure through this wonderful magazine. So it's kind of neat that here it is 24 years later, and we get the first Visionary Award. But way back, we really appreciate that Steve was one of the people that said, "Art's for real, and we support you." Thank you.
To the LaRussa family, aren't they wonderful? I'm sure it wasn't lost on you on how they both thanked each other and complimented each other. That was very, very romantic. So I really liked that. Any chance you're going back to the A's anytime soon? Can we get you back? No? Okay. We need you. Okay, let's move on to our next nominee. No matter how one loses a child, whether it's by a prolonged illness or a sudden death, the loss of a child is perhaps the most profound, the most overwhelming, the most inconsolable of losses. Most of us can only imagine what that would be like and the heartache. But April Rivero knows the pain, knows that loss, and how it rips your soul apart. In 2010, she found out that she lost her son from a mix of prescription drugs and alcohol. The coroner's report said that he had 1 Xanax pill, a pill and a half of OxyContin, and just over a little over the legal amount of alcohol in his system, which had slowed down his central nervous system and killed him. Coroner said that none of the individual ingredients was even close to being at a toxic level. But the combination for her son that night was deadly and devastating for her. It was later determined that a dirty doctor was involved with that prescription. Rather than be sidelined by her grief and remain angry at the doctor who prescribed Joey the drugs, that doctor, who was currently awaiting trial on second-degree murder charges related to Joey's death, Rivera took action to try to prevent another family from experiencing her pain and her devastation. In 2010, 6 months after Joey's passing, and concerned with the lack of awareness about the dangers of prescription drugs, Rivera and her family founded the National Coalition Against Prescription Drug Abuse, a move she did to save all of our children.
Hi, my name is Melanie Bartoletti, and I've nominated April Rivero for the Threads of Hope Award for 2014. She has made a huge impact in our community. She's taken one of the worst things that can happen to a human being and turned that to make it so other people may not experience what she's experienced. It's her whole life. She goes around and she speaks and she travels and she is above and beyond a volunteer. This has become an extension of her. And I think the work that she's done is incredible.
My name is April Rovero, and I'm the founder and CEO of the National Coalition Against Prescription Drug Abuse. I don't know how to say it other than I've just always had a really keen sense of the need to give back. Well, I actually founded the organization shortly after losing my 21-year-old son, Joey Rovero, to an accidental overdose of prescription meds that he mixed with alcohol while at a college party. As I looked around at friends, family, and let them know what had happened to our son, I learned that they didn't know anything more about prescription drug abuse than I did, which was zero, nothing. So basically I decided ultimately that we needed to speak out, we needed to create an organization that could educate the community, my own community and beyond, about this problem. I would say that I'm motivated by the responses I get. So when I do give a presentation, for instance, to a group of parents and the feedback I get, and sometimes it's immediate and sometimes it's not, it helps me feel that there is an accomplishment there, that the goals that I was trying to achieve by sharing that information have been met. It makes you feel a little strange to be recognized for something you're doing that, you're not doing it for the reward. There's none of us that are going to be recognized. I'm sure that is the case for it. But what it gives me is an opportunity to speak out in a bigger, broader way and to touch people that otherwise wouldn't have heard this message. And so that is so important to me. Certainly much more important than the personal recognition. But I am honored, though I want to say that for sure. I am honored to be recognized. We are saving lives literally by sharing the information we have. And it's also allowing my son to live on through the story that we tell about what happened to him. Joey was a great kid, did not have a history of abuse like this, and so he represents everybody's child in my mind. And I believe that having the opportunity to share a story and make a difference out there, it helps me deal and cope with his death, certainly, and it helps him live on in a really positive way. He was much more than a college student that died from an accidental overdose of medications he'd been prescribed by a doctor. It was just a tragic accident, and people need to learn and realize that it could happen to them if they aren't careful with this stuff too.
Please welcome a very courageous mother, April Rovero. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm incredibly honored to be here and to be among the 100 recipients of this esteemed award. That is a great honor, and I will never forget that. I want to thank Melanie for having nominated me in the first place. She couldn't be here tonight because, interestingly enough, she's actually receiving an honor herself by the San Ramon Chamber of Commerce this evening. She was also a previous Threads of Hope Award winner and very deserving too. So I want to thank her, and I'll let her know that later too. Diablo Magazine has really stepped up and helped in much more broad a way than this recognition, and I want to just call that out. There was an article that they put into the newspaper, the magazine about it was actually 2013, and they did a really comprehensive, great job of really exposing this problem and helping, I think, the community who read the magazine article, and I hope many of you did, understand that this is real, it's in our backyard, and it's something we need to address. I want to recognize my family. I am so proud of every one of them for their willingness to step up and have the backbone to speak out. So many families do not want to be exposed to potential criticism or negative comments about their loved ones when they lose them to this kind of a death. And my family has stepped up. They have stood beside me. They've given me the support, the backbone, and that goes down all the way to our grandchildren. Each one of them has been involved in some way to help spread the word. you don't do this kind of work alone, and I want to recognize all those others who have been right there beside me, too. I've got an amazing board of directors. There's been an evolution of different members, but every one of them has been so supportive. A couple of them are here tonight, Patty, and, well, actually 3 of them, including my husband. So thank you, Patty, and Babette, and Joe, my husband, and to my entire family, and especially my husband, because he's behind the scenes. You don't hear from Joe, but he is there for me every step of the way. He takes care of all my technology issues, and believe me, there's plenty. And basically, I know I can count on him for everything. And then lastly, I want to mention that I am grateful for Joey for the fact I had him for 21 years and for him giving me a life story that I could take forward and do something very positive with. So his life has saved others, and that I'm very grateful for. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to get a tag team. Not 1, but 2. You know when you watch those TV shows on TV and it's about police officers, there's always a good cop and a bad cop? Well, in this, you don't have a bad cop and a good cop, you have 2 great cops. So this is what this is about. 2 retired police officers that followed the same path. Amazing that these 2 individuals were nominated for a Threads of Hope Award the same year. We're honoring Neil Stratton and Margaret Dixon, not only for their service as police officers in their respective communities, but what they did as Threads after they both retired. So what do you do when you retire from being a police officer? Neil figured it out pretty quickly, and what he did grew into something that was incredible and made a difference in so many lives. After seeing so many situations that troubled him, he said he wanted to do something. Imagine a police officer sees everything. That something was the Contra Costa Cops for Kids. It's a nonprofit agency that's provided mentoring and sports clinics for thousands of children. In his 32 years, he was seeing young people throwing away their lives. Cops for Kids has gone on to do wonderful things, reaching so many youths in our community, guiding hundreds, if not thousands, to a better life. In 2011, the association issued 10,000 grants in which directly benefited 1,745 youth in our county. Over the years, thousands more have received similar support. Now currently, the agency's main thrust is putting a positive mental attitude seminar together in which cops, active and retired, explain things kids should know, that they can't be told enough. Topics include the importance of setting goals, and how to get help with depression and bullying. Last year, the agency put on 194 seminars, and Stratton himself led 150 of them. Isn't that amazing? So then on the other side of the tunnel, we have another amazing person, Margaret Dixon. She currently serves as the board president of the Oakland Police Activities League. It's a nonprofit that serves at-risk boys and girls in Oakland by providing after-school activities and lots of sports opportunities. She's guided several of her athletes to receive college athletic scholarships, and she's been there as a mentor and as a friend as well. Consider this partial list of programs that Dixon started in the Oakland Police Activities League. Building Strong Minds, which is a mentoring program for girls, the Youth Track Team, Adopt a Family, which provides help for needy families over the holidays, and she also does the annual Christmas meal for the community. During her 25 years as a police officer, Dixon did it all: patrol, traffic, safety, and fugitive apprehension. But when Dixon liked best was working with kids. She used to carry baseball cards and teddy bears in her patrol car to break the ice, always trying to befriend kids so that they'd feel good about being with a police officer and see them in a positive light. After she retired, she started a second career teaching criminal justice at Merritt College. She continues to coach, to mentor, and to get ready for the next community Christmas dinner. Like Neil, Margaret is a hero and inspiration to everyone who knows her. She continues to be there for the youth of Oakland, 27 years and counting. A retired police officer, she's also a grandmother, she's a role model who not only knows how to talk the talk, but she knows how to walk the walk. Please let me introduce you to Margaret and Neil.
My name is Jim Alcorn. I'm a retired police lieutenant with the City of Concord. I nominated Neil Stratton for the Threads of Hope Award. He's an outstanding individual and well-deserving of the award. Neil's character is beyond reproach. Retired police captain with the City of Walnut Creek. He put in over 25 years serving the citizens of Walnut Creek. Solid foundation. Beyond that, he has a desire that's strong, that has to deal with youth in Contra Costa County. He really wants to make a difference in the lives of youth, especially at-risk youth. I nominated Neil because of the work that he's done. He's the person that, as the backbone of our organization, it was his vision to start Contra Costa Cops for Kids. He's the one that's put in place the programs that have been the success that they've been. Positive mental attitude seminars that have helped thousands of kids in Contra Costa County improve their life and think about positive directions. No one volunteers more than Neil. He's never taken a penny of money for his work over the 19 years the organization's existed, and he's just done an outstanding job. The organization, quite frankly, would not exist without Neil Stratton.
I'm Neil Stratton from Contra Costa Cops for Kids. I retired after 32 years with the Walnut Creek Police Department, and my wife told me, don't you stay home and bother me, you go find something to do. One of the missions is to be involved in violence prevention, and so we're involved with the Delta Project and the Contra Costa County Violence Coalition to work on preventing violence in Contra Costa County. So we do a lot of interesting things. We have a retired FBI agent at Las Juntas Elementary in Martinez that for 10 years has been doing after-school violin lessons. We've helped the Richmond PAL and other PAL organizations in the county with their various programs. We've helped the Sheriff's Office with their youth fishing trips. We've just had all of these different activities that we've been involved in to help officers that are mentoring youth so that they can afford to do it, because a lot of them are spending money out of their own pockets, and this way we can help them with some of the financial expenses of doing sports activities and fees for the youth they're working with. We're concerned about the suicide, which is the third leading cause of death for young people. And so we pass out a card from the Contra Costa Crisis Center with emergency numbers on it, so they've got some resources if that situation arises. And I was getting ready to give a class one day, and a guy walks in, he says, hey, I know you. He says, I had this class from you before at another high school. He says, you gave us those cards with the emergency numbers on it. He says, I put it in my wallet, forgot about it. He says, but then a couple of months ago, my girlfriend started talking about committing suicide. And I said, hey, I love you, I don't want you to kill yourself. And I remember that card. I gave it to her. I said, call this number, get some help. And she did, and she didn't kill herself. He says, but she kept my card. Could I have another one, please? So it's things like that that tell me we're making a difference.
Hi, my name is Kim Cano. John Miller and I nominated Margaret Dixon for the Threads of Hope Award. She was born and raised in Oakland and was part of that city. She became a police officer, I want to say, over 35 years ago. She's been the director of Oakland PAL for 25 years. I started working with Margaret back in 1998. And I wasn't at first, I didn't know anything about Oakland or the Oakland PAL, and I met Margaret and felt just the passion and everything that she wanted to do for Oakland, and she sold me. Margaret is very genuine. What you see is what you get with Margaret. Her whole focus is Oakland and the youth of Oakland. I don't think she does anything in her day-to-day without thinking about the kids in Oakland. You hear about people saying about pay it forward and that you pay it forward. She is constantly paying it forward. But the thing about Margaret, it's part of her DNA. I don't think she can help but give.
My name is Margaret Dixon. I'm a retired police officer with the Oakland Police Department, where I spent 25 years serving the Oakland community. I volunteer for the Oakland Police Activities League, PAL. It's my heart. I put a lot of energy into it. I love the program. I saw it as a very unique organization that allowed young people first opportunities. And it didn't cost them anything. So I didn't have to worry about them saying I didn't have any money to be part of the program. So I got a chance to introduce that to young people who may not have had a recreation outlet or an education outlet at the time in terms of an after-school program. I get a great deal of gratification out of giving back to those who may not be able to be in a position to do for themselves. It's my way of giving back to them, giving them some type of worthiness. A lot of our young people that we work with are looking for someone to just care, someone to show them some attention, give them some attention, and show them how to be positive role models in the community. I work in a community where cops have not always been the positive thing in their lives, and so we have had to be there. Our motto is filling playgrounds, not prisons. Many of our contact with them has been positive. We consider ourselves the safe haven for them when they come to our recreation center after school. The impact has been great. We have witnessed many of our young people growing up to be productive citizens in the community. And many of them have come back and said it's because of what we gave them that they were able to move away and do what they have done. Meeting a lot of the challenges that they have. We are located in the city of Oakland where crime is high. And when young people make it out of there and be able to come back and tell us that we've done a good job, it means a lot. So just hearing that from those young people have given us the motivation to know that we need to keep this going. That has been a great impact on all of us.
Inspirational police officers who dedicated their lives to making our community better while they worked and now as well. Thank you. Neil and Margaret, thank you for everything you've done.
I'd like to thank Diablo Magazine and the judges for selecting me for this award. I'd also like to thank Jim Alcorn for nominating me, and especially my family, who some of them are here tonight. My wife of over 50 years, Pat, my son Sean and daughter Sue, Sean's wife Teresa, and my granddaughters Tricia and Jessica. Also like to thank the sponsors and the supporters and the volunteers that we have. And finally, I'd like to thank our executive director, Larry Olson. This is a little confusing. We have Lori Olson, who is our coordinator of development and communications, our only paid employee, and she's part-time. And the other is the executive director also of the Richmond PAL program. And I have a mental block here, I can't believe it. I've known this guy forever. Well, anyway, Larry, thanks a lot, huh? And I'd like to congratulate the other honorees as well. Thank you very much.
Whew, thank you so much. You know, when I got the call that I had been nominated for the Threads of Hope Award, I said, who, me? Why me? Everything I do from the heart. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Diablo Valley Magazine, the staff, the committee who had a chance to look over all those nominees and chose the 7 of us tonight. I know for me, none of this would be possible without all of my friends. And I know that I bug you guys a lot. To David, who opened his doors for me when I go into his business and tell him that my kids in Oakland need some t-shirts. And he always say, how many? How many, Margaret? But he always assists me and helps me. Thank you so much, David. To Kim and John, who nominated me for this award, you know how I feel. I don't like to receive any mention of what I do. But thank you for nominating me. I appreciate you. I thank you for all that you've done for my kids. Kim, going into the stores and buying sheets for their beds at Christmas. Thank you, Kim. And for my students at Merritt who are here tonight, thank you so much for driving all the way out here. Thank you so much for supporting Miss Dixon. I love you guys and I appreciate you. Those of you that know that I work in a very tough city, but the kids are great. They love when someone shows them some attention. They love when we can just spend a little time with them, tell them how great they are, how sweet they are, and how special they are. So with this award, I accept it in their behalf, because without them, I would be bored. I don't know what I would do. So thank all of you tonight for coming out and supporting all of us. Thank you.
To Margaret and Neil and all of our Threads of Hope tonight. And to Larry. It's been a pleasure to be with you tonight. Barney's going to come up for some final words. But before I leave you, I want to leave you with some words from the late Nelson Mandela. And he said, "Our human compassion binds us to one another, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope." And tonight, we turn that into the Threads of Hope. Thank you so much for having me again.
Jessica, it's so wonderful to have you here year after year.
Thank you.
Threads of Hope wouldn't be the same without you. So a little token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
Some flowers and some Rivera Cabernet.
Whoa, yay.
And
Have this all tonight.
And we look forward to many more years with you. So.
It's a good thing I took Bart.
Thank you. And congratulations and thank you to all of our honorees tonight. You really are so inspiring to us. Before we go, I just wanted to say thank you to, again, to our sponsors. Wells Fargo Private Bank, our presenting sponsor. Contra Costa Oncology, our gold sponsor. Amos Productions Video for the video tonight. The Orinda Theater, what a great venue we're in here. Republic of Cake, Jessamine Photography, C&M Party Props, and Florit Florist. So thank you to all of you. We couldn't do it without you. I'd now like to ask all of our honorees, all of our past honorees, and our nominees to please stand and let us give you another round of applause.
When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can